to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan. Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
I'm running out of steam on this fucking thing.
I'm running out of steam on this fucking thing, too. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Detroit Cast, powered by DealsInTheD.com with Mike and Jay. Shalom, Big E. Hi, Jay.
Hi, Mike.
How are you?
I'm well. I'm weller than you.
Yeah, one of those days.
Mike's not feeling good. Wonder who got you sick. Jesus, you son of a bitch.
Thanks, E. Appreciate it, you son of a bitch.
I don't know what to say. I don't know.
You came into work sick.
I did let Mike
2 days in a row.
I let Mike know I was feeling crappy on the other day.
Yeah.
I didn't not say it.
So it's my fault. You're victim blaming now.
Well, no, I'm victim blaming that you're blaming. I don't know, dude. You're cycling it around.
Well put.
We're out of sorts today.
I know, we are. We're getting a late start. It's my fault. I feel like shit, but that's okay. I'll rally.
It'll be transparent to the listeners.
Oh, yeah, they won't even know outside of this 2 minutes of shit. The other problem is I don't have water.
Yeah, you don't have water.
I don't have water.
I don't want to say cursed. I don't want to say hexed. I don't want to say this is God-forsaken land. But, dude.
You thinking there's some witchcraft involved? There's some sorcery?
I don't know, Mike. This place seems to just be kind of, it's sort of like...
Jinxed, perhaps.
Jinxed. I think Gabara said it best when he was here, I don't know, maybe a year ago recording something. He's like, you know what, this place... I don't know that it's going to be inhabitable. We put an over-under like 3 years.
Enough already.
It's sort of like a structure in Chernobyl.
Uninhabitable.
It's sort of like
really?
It's in Chernobyl.
Really, I don't feel
where,
good.
Vines are taking over, and
I don't agree with that,
shit's
Mike.
just
FYI.
Thank you, Easus.
I know
uninhabitable.
I don't know that.
I didn't say it,
but you repeated it.
Yeah,
and
I think he said it best. Honestly,
for fuck's sake.
There's just shit going wrong everywhere, man. This is a place. It's a very nice place. But it needs to be kept up.
Yeah.
And
it's expensive to do that.
I'm not blaming you, dude. It's just that your personality doesn't fit with this sort of property.
I know.
It's a nice property. You're a nice person, but you just don't mesh.
Appreciate that.
You're a condo kind of guy.
Yep. I'm a guy that's like, wow, look at that mess out there.
Yeah.
Hope somebody comes by and cleans that up.
You're not the kind of guy to take care of acreage.
Exactly. Great point.
Or things around the house.
Dude, it gets so much harder, too, when you lack financial funds.
Yeah.
When you don't have funds to just
financial funds.
Yeah, financial funds, exactly. When you can't just go, here's a few dollars, fix it, go away. When you don't have that at your beckon anymore, it becomes a real problem. And so, you wake up and it's like, the birds are chirping, and you get the sleeps out of your eye, and then you go to turn on the faucet, and it's like, well, ain't that nice?
And then the water drips from your skylight, and it's just. Yeah.
It's like, well, this faucet quit. Let me go downstairs to the other one. This ought to be fine.
No. So we're having a pee-pee party over here. Everybody's just peeing.
No
and
one can use the toilet.
Flush.
Yeah.
He has very orange urine.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it stinks?
It's very ironclad.
Asparagus? Is he a big asparagus fan?
I haven't even gone to the bathroom since I've been here.
Oh, that must have been mine. Am I the only one that's gone?
I haven't gone since I've been here yet.
Yeah, so I've been, usually we would have started the show a couple hours ago, but I've been making phone calls because I don't know who was in charge of the water. I'm like, man, I wish a real man was around here to figure this out. They probably already know what to do, but I don't. And so I'm calling the city of Franklin. Wonderful people. Just very, very helpful. I don't know. Call the pump people or some shit. Thanks. I'll do that. Do you have a number? Click. Thanks. Wonderful. Great. And so I've been buzzing around it, and I finally find a sticker on something that's like, oh, water thing, call here. And so I call him, and the guy's like, yeah, I'm slammed. I can't get out there for days. I'm like, great, just what I needed to hear. He's like, here's a number of someone else. So I've called them, and I've kind of been delaying, waiting for a call back.
Might I suggest you head down the street to Beth's house and hang there?
Can I do that now? Can I just do that now? You guys got this shit, right?
Sure.
All right. So, bear with us today. I'm expecting you guys to carry a lot of the load. Thank God. This has worked out even better, Jay, because it was supposed to be Big E's History Day yesterday, but he was sick as shit. Remember that when you brought poison sickness into the room?
I do.
And so he's going to do that today. Can you cover like a half hour with that thing, E?
I don't know about a half hour.
35 minutes, tops.
You got this before the break, right, E? If we can just get Mike to the break, we can pump him full of NyQuil or something.
That's right.
I'm full of NyQuil.
Hey, you have an annual physical to make sure you're healthy? Oh, man.
See, why are you
just
doing
made
this,
me
Reed,
think
of
about
all
a doctor
days?
grabbing my nuts.
And I feel like shit. I haven't been to the doctor in, I don't know, 20 years.
What do you do to make sure you remain financially fit? Let's take it out of the health context, okay,
All right.
Mike?
All right.
Financial
Very good.
fitness. Mark Leibovitz at LPL Financial, that's what he's all about. He specializes in thoughtful and objective investment guidance designed to keep your finances in shape. So call him today, 248-626-2000. Ask for Mark.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
Were you guys able to keep yourselves entertained down here for a couple hours?
Yeah, we did some member content.
Did you?
Got some other things done, sure.
Very good, very good. Of course you did. You worked your ass off, I'm sure.
Well, there's never a lack of things to do around
I know,
here, Mike.
I know. Well, let's see. Who's on top of the pile for, oh my God, that guy's the creep. He's the creep. He needs to be called out right now.
Well, it sounds like Franco has been the name du jour.
Well, there's a fifth
Or
bitch that's
DeWeek.
come out now
Is
and
that right?
accused Franco. Yeah.
Oh, Jimmy.
I don't know what to make of this James Franco one, though, dude. I really don't, because, you know, it's easy when it's like, a guy grabbed me as I was running down the trail and pulled me into the woods and raped me. And it's like, oh, okay. That is not good. That's not nice. It's not a nice thing to do. That's a bad man. But with this guy, it's like, it's a lot of former students who took his acting class.
Yeah.
And it sounds like all of his art films like to have nudity in them and
Sure.
like an orgy scene. And so, you know, all these wide-eyed little, oh my God, I'm hot as shit in Indiana. I'm going to Hollywood. I'm going to be a star or something.
Yeah, but it's more than that, man. It's not just like him rolling up on chicks going, "Yeah, I'm James Franco. What do you think?" I mean, he's getting them into, or allegedly, like asking them into castings and then kind of like, "All right, show me your tits," and just in a real crass way.
But if the art calls
And then
for it at the
moreover,
moment, I mean,
there was something about like an oral sex scene where he
Yeah.
was removing plastic privacy parts.
dude, who wants a plastic privacy part covering a vagine? I mean, that's never good. Apparently that's what they do. Like if they're doing like going down any scenes, they
Big
have like
sticker.
Yeah, they got like a sticker or a leaf. They do that with guys too. And he's like, no need for this, whoosh, and throws it. He of course denies it. His lawyer denies it. But the truth is probably somewhere in between. I can't help but wonder, because he had a group called Studio 4.
Yeah.
In LA. And the reason we talk about this now is because the LA Times just a few hours ago came out with a big story about Franco. They interviewed a bunch of the girls. Studio 4, where these people are paying like $300 a month to take these acting classes with him.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad at all.
And so it was either $300 a week or a month. I think a month. But they would come down, and it was kind of like, yeah, you do stuff with me, and I'll use you in my projects. It was like, you kind of, it's like getting going to Specs Howard, and they'll make sure you get an internship somewhere at a radio station, kind of get your foot in the door. And so a lot of these young girls are saying they just had uncomfortable, you know, interactions with him of a sexual nature that they felt was wrong. It doesn't sound like he forced himself on anyone or anything like that, but
No, the term they're using is sexually exploitative behavior.
yeah,
You know, he's not raping them, but he's taking advantage.
yeah. I don't know how to
Allegedly.
feel about that. Like, obviously, if you're in an environment like this, and it's like you have a girl here, and it's like, no, I'd like to see some titties. How about you, Janet? You know, and you make her pull her. Obviously, that doesn't work, but it's really hard to just like blanket go, oh, that's outrageous. How dare you ask a girl that when you're talking about the dumb world of art?
Yeah, we
and
don't know the
film
facts.
and
It's hard to
modeling.
say. It's easy to see though how a chick could be like, oh boy, I'm in this situation. This guy,
Yeah,
he's the boss of this thing. I want to do well in this dumb thing. I want to be in his movies. He's asking me to take off my top. You know,
Yeah.
you feel pressure.
and they don't have money. They don't have representation. They're just kind of getting their feet in the door. And you know, yeah, obviously you don't want to disappoint the guy. You've saved up money to go to these courses. So anyway, yeah, they just felt used, a lot of them.
Exploited.
And, yeah, that's kind of the business, though, isn't it?
Dude,
No,
it's
I-
not.
Isn't it though? I mean, how is it not? That whole business is exploitive.
Mike, you can't just broad brush and go, I mean, you know you're getting in this business. You're going to have to show some tits and let this guy go down on you without a plastic thing. I mean,
Well, they
exploitation
deny that.
is exploitation.
Yeah, but-
so exploitation assumes a standard, and you're going over that standard. Is there no standard in the art world?
Well, Doesn't
in
seem
your,
to be.
In your
I haven't
view,
seen
in
it.
your view, I guess not.
I see outrageous shit from photographers and
I
artists
agree,
and all
but
the
doesn't
time.
but why are you just broad brushing like can't we just excuse this because I mean really is there a
Did
standard?
I say to excuse it?
Well, what are you asking?
I'm having a discussion about it.
You're going down this line like, dude. I mean, can we really say that this is
because
inappropriate?
we're doing these massive like takedown pieces of these people.
You can't broad brush it either way. Is it relevant to ask? Yeah, were there different facts here that could have condoned this? Yes,
Yeah.
it is. But dude, you're always, and I just don't want to take part in a discussion that always centers on how can we get the guy out from under this.
I'm not trying to get any guy out from under
It
it.
sure seems like
I'm
it.
just trying to see both sides, see a thing, because I can't help but think, well, if the school was still open, if it didn't close a month ago, would all these bitches have a problem with this? I don't know. Maybe they're disgruntled. But I'm just trying to look at it from all perspectives. That's all.
Just the fact that you used the word bitches. Right
I know
there in
I
that
was wrong. I
phrase.
felt it when I was saying it. I'm sorry. All these girls, young women, and I'm not saying he's innocent or guilty.
I'm not either. I just feel like every time we get into this conversation, it's this effort to pull the rug out from under the women all the time. And I'm not always trying to support them. I'm just like, dude, we don't know. I mean, I agree it's relevant to discuss because it's a big story. He's a big name.
Yeah.
This shit shouldn't go on. But I just don't want to take part in another conversation where it's like, well, let's get Franco out from under this because we don't know the facts. We don't know.
I know, but it's in the L.A. Times.
Okay,
And
tell
they've
us
got-
what they say.
Well, they said stuff like, I felt I was selected for something based on my hard work and my merit. Hilarious. And when I realized it was because I have nice tits, it was pretty clear that was not the case. I don't think he started teaching with bad intentions, but he went down a bad path and damaged a lot of people.
So her premise is totally wrong. She should never go into this business thinking that she could be selected for her hard work and skill. Because you said hilarious.
Yes, I do. I'm sorry. I say that because it seems like the ones that get the opportunities, oh, what do you know? They just happen to be a 10 in every aspect. They're gorgeous on every level. What do you know? Oh, my merit, my this. It's like, yeah, well, the fat girl has lots of talent too. She's not getting cast. This girl is because of my merit. I just happen to be gorgeous. So that's why I scoff at that. That's all. In 2015, he asked this girl, Sarah Kaplan, she's one of the first ones that came out, was tweeting the other night, asked her to play a prostitute in one of his projects. Part required her to perform nude. She agreed. She signed a nudity agreement. Day one of the set, producer approached to ask if she wanted to film a bonus scene, an orgy. Of course, it's never like, going to have you play an accountant at a desk for the bonus scene. Oh, it just happens to be an orgy scene. And she was fully nude in the background. And a lot of the girls, this is the one where they were, he was going to play the guy going down on all these girls in the orgy scene.
How convenient.
And then, yeah, I know. What do you know? And took apparently the plastic shield off. He vehemently denies that. His lawyer does, but who knows? I don't know why they would lie about that. And in true art fashion, it's like, I'm nude in the background with a big giant animal head on my head. It's like, ugh. We're doing orgy scenes, like half furry, half nude, animal skulls on their head. One girl balked, and this is the problem with this thing. We say it all the time. Yeah, well, okay, one girl balks, and it's like, okay, bye, see you. There's 100 girls behind you that look exactly the same, and one of them will do this. And that's the exploitive nature of it that is probably disgusting. I don't know what you do about it. We can talk about it forever, but he's been making the rounds. He did another talk show last night, and is kind of
Didn't he kind of say, like, I'll fall on the sword. I don't believe I did anything wrong, but this is an important issue, so if this gets people talking, that's an interesting angle, James.
It is. It's kind of a cool angle. Like, how do I make myself a martyr in this?
Yeah.
And, well, if I need to fall on the sword to get everyone else to talk about this serious
Then
issue.
so be it.
Okay. And people keep prodding him, too, about Ali Sheedy. Like,
Yeah.
So, what happened with Ali? He's like, I got nothing. I don't know. She deleted the shit, so whatever, man. I'm out of it. I'm not saying a word. So he's bailing on that conversation. But they've canceled some of his things. This usually happens. He's promoting this movie. Are you familiar? Do you know the backstory of the movie that he's in right now? The one that
yeah. It's some crazy director,
Tommy Mazzula or something like that.
like a B movie director.
Dude, this is really funny because, like, when you talk about really shitty movies, cult movies, shit movies, whatever, there's one movie that comes up that's like, yep, that's the worst movie ever made.
And it's this guy's movie?
It's The Room is the name of it. It's called The Room, and it's awful. And this director, his friend's director or whatever, like saved up all his money and like paid for the whole thing, paid for advertising, had billboards in Hollywood and everything. And it's the shittiest movie ever. And so he's playing this wacky, crazy director that made this movie. And it's getting critical acclaim. They say it's good. I don't know. We'll have to see, but wait and see. But
every time I see shots of him in this, he looks like Matt Dillon from Singles. Remember the Matt Dillon character?
Yes,
just like with a hat on and the the long hair, and he's just
up, dude.
Yeah. Franco can really take on that stoner look pretty easily, can he?
Yeah, he can. He does pretty well at that. I did hear that one of these like what do they call those method actors where it's like
yes. He doesn't come out of his role for like 8 months.
James is just going to be in character for 4 months while shooting with this shit weird accent and
it's like Leto when he played the Joker.
Oh, did he do that?
Yes, he just stayed in the role for the whole fucking time. He's like sending castmates little presents, a wrapped up dead rat, because that's what the Joker would do.
Ugh, such dorks. Get over yourself. Who's the famous one that does that? Who played Lincoln? He might have been in like very serious actor, but another one of those method guys where it's like, oh, he's going to be Lincoln for 4 months. You have to address him as Mr. President and blah blah blah. So funny those guys that take this shit so seriously. So I didn't know he was one of those guys, but apparently he did that for this movie. Anyway, I'm sure if there's more out there, we'll hear about him. It's rather disturbing when you hear 5 girls making claims. Like I said, 4 of them students. Who knows what the full story is? We certainly don't need to jump to conclusions, although I probably will. But yeah, it's anytime these guys are fully denying everything. Like who's the asshole from that '70s show? And it's like,
right.
Okay, there's 5 girls that don't know each other who are accusing you of flat out rape now, Danny Masterson. Mm-hmm. I think we're past the point of.
You got to watch how those come out, though. If one comes out and it's out there in the public, then it's conceivable the others could come after, going, no, me too, just kind of making up similar shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
really?
I think we're just in this environment where obviously you can't take everything the women say as truth, but I think you take it seriously and at least look into it.
Yeah, and we've talked about it because it is hard. It is hard to look at it because there's such a spectrum of who feels abused and why. You get fired from it, and you saw this in your line of work, Jay. Someone gets fired from their job, and they just automatically assume it's because of this. This is why I was fired, and it's like, good luck proving that.
All the time.
You know what I mean? And so for people like to come out afterwards, they don't have anything, they don't have a name, and it's like, I was exploited too.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I guess. We'll see.
It's a good environment for plaintiff lawyers right now.
Yeah.
Lawyers.
What can I ask you this though, and we'll move on from it, but is it safe to say that everybody has assholishness in their background at some point?
Of course.
And that I just don't know. Like, what do we do? Okay, like
I always tongue in cheek use the term boorish, and he always rolls his eyes when I do it. But everybody's been boorish. Everybody's been rude.
Yeah.
Everybody's been a dick to chicks in the past.
I think I try to think about it, and it's like.
But that's what's the problem with this. This whole thing just takes everything and funnels it all together and goes everything from holding the chick down by the neck and raping her 5 times in a row to he whistled at me when I walked by.
Yeah.
And Matt Damon, of course, took shit for pointing out there's a difference in those things.
God forbid. Yeah.
But the fact is there is.
There is.
Some of it's a crime. Some of it's just simply not. It's just being a dick.
Well, it's like that weird line, because I think about it, and I'm like, I'm thinking about back in my past and like high school, and it's like, no, I've never done anything where a girl could go, oh my God, I didn't want anything, and this guy forced something. It's like, whew. But, have I been a dick? Have I said bullshit to a girl to fucking finagle her into coming home with me? No. But you know what I mean, though? Like, a lot of guys have done that. Like, said, oh, yeah, I'm the third-string quarterback of the Lions. Like, so, he's banging her on the back of a fucking bus. And it's like, is that like, sexual assault? Is that, I don't know what that is. Is that a guy just doing whatever he can to run game on a girl? I don't know. I mean, is that all horrible
behavior? Takes 2 to tango in that situation, man.
It does, but when you see, like, Douglas Michaels coming out and going, like, some girl's like, 32 years ago he jacked off in front of me and he said bad words. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
what are we supposed to do with that? Like,
No,
just
I think more and
trash
more
him?
people are starting to recognize that. Like, what are we supposed to do with that?
You think
And
so?
Yeah, I do. I mean,
Because I haven't heard anyone lay out a solution of anything. Like, okay, can we just like?
well, exactly. You're going to change the whole culture. I mean, our culture is fucked. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, the toothpaste is out of the tube. We're so
Yeah.
far down the line. Hell in a handbasket, Mike.
Dungeon work, Jay. You can go to a dungeon and be whipped or whizzed on.
If you want.
Yeah, sure.
Pay
why not?
for it. Hey, it's time to celebrate huge savings during the Auto Show sales event at Zott M59 Chrysler Jeep. With payments this low and E-Tard's big raise, even he can afford a sweet Jeep. Lease a new loaded 18 Jeep Compass as low as $222 a month. This Compass has it all, including Apple CarPlay, heated leather seats, and heated steering wheel. See details in their massive inventory at dealsinthed.com. What's up with the heated steering
I was
wheel?
just going to say, is the heated steering wheel necessary? The heated
I wasn't
seats-
going to poo-poo it.
I wouldn't poo it either.
But I don't. Yeah, I've never. It's never thought. It's never been a thought in my mind. Like, God, if this steering wheel was just warmer, I'd rather have heated windshield wipers.
Oh, great.
You know?
Yes, for
when
sure.
the fucking ice builds up and then it gets in the middle part and then it
you just get
works.
that
You know, it goes,
streak.
but you have that streak right in your vision. I
we-
want those heated.
Did we ever talk about the day when your wipers stopped working and we were in that storm on the
Oh,
freeway?
dude, we're going downtown to Detroit Barbers, right, to see
That's-
E get his
yeah.
head shorn, and we're going down, and it's just one of these days where it's bright and sunny,
Yeah.
but there's just enough on the road where it's kicking up
Salt and dirt.
and I'm going to use my windshield washers, and they're not working,
Yeah.
and I'm like, Mike,
It's
dude, go
and
in
I'm,
front of
I'm
me.
using mine like every 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Like you spray because it's one of those where when you get that really everyone knows that who's around here that thick gunk salt dirt and it's like you can't see
Especially
a
with the
thing.
sunlight, just the glare. And so I'm like, dude, I'm going 40 miles an hour right now because I can't see in front of me.
Yeah.
Like, you might want to just go ahead. Don't follow me because I'm stuck. And he's like, whoa, wait. We're coming up to a stop. Something's going on. There's an accident or something. I'll get out and pour water on your windshield. I'm like, no. I'm good. My man did
Dude,
twice.
Wasn't it fantastic? Like I was like, I can help him.
It's too dangerous,
His
Mike.
wipers will work.
Shouldn't
what
do that.
freeway?
I didn't
were
want to put
what
you.
were we on?
You're on the lodge.
The lodge. We're on the lodge.
Put you in harm's way.
And I'm like, dude, just stop. And you're like, nope. I'm like, Jay, fuck you. Stop the car. I'll just run out, and I'll just spray water on your car.
One time I even stopped and then went.
As I'm opening my door and Jay would just start going. I'm like, stop the car. Stop it. Finally, he got stuck in a spot where he couldn't not stop. And I leapt out of my car and just poured a whole bottle of water.
Dude, and it was like
Wasn't
renewal.
it awesome?
It was like, oh my God.
And then
Brand new birth.
And then another time, like you get going, and I'm like, this is just going to happen again. So we got stuck, and I just jumped out of my car and ran to yours and threw a bottle of water in your car.
beautiful.
So it worked.
I don't think I appropriately thanked you for that. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, you're welcome. Very welcome. I risked my life for you.
Yeah, but heated
what I did.
steering wheels.
Yeah, I don't know how we got there. Heated steering wheels, like back when they were all plastic, that hard plastic, maybe
Yeah.
your hands would
Maybe
your
it's just
palms
so
would get a little
easy
cold.
now. Maybe it's so easy that they're like, yeah, let's just heat the steering wheel too.
Yeah.
But I say, heat the wipers too.
Yeah, wipers would be way better. Or the windshield. I don't care. Take your pick.
Yeah, dude.
Heat
Seriously.
the windshield or the wipers.
Yeah, you
your
put
call.
the defrost onto the back. Put something in the
Yes.
windshield to heat it, man.
Heated seats, greatest thing ever. Love those.
Those are nice.
I had a car with a massage seat.
Oh, Mike.
Can you believe that? And it was like I would push a button on my seat, and it was just like,
Did it make you itchy after a while?
no, it made me tired. I stopped using it because like I'm just gonna fall asleep. It's like, oh, who doesn't love a good massage? Like this is just flat dangerous.
Yeah, that is.
Stop doing this. Chelsea Handler.
Oh, man.
I saw Fox News is where I saw this story, and I love it. They started off former comedian Chelsea Handler.
Former.
It's like that's a nice little shot.
Yep.
Has she gotten to be the most irritating? I don't know, smug almost.
Yeah.
bitch.
I mean, I try to look at it objectively and go, okay, like what does the other side think of her too? Are they, even if Fox News is saying this, what is, do the Dems look and go, Chelsea, that's a bit much.
I hate the hypocrisy of the angles that a lot of it's like I get it. You hate the president, De Niro. I get it. You hate the fucking really everything you're gonna do now publicly. We have to find a way to worm fuck that guy, piece of shit. Like I got it.
If I ever see him in an alley, yeah, got
Really,
it, Bob.
will you, 80-year-old man? Will you, dude? You were in Goodfellas. Enough. I understand where you stand. Chelsea Handler. I get it. You don't like the fucking guy. Whatever.
Yeah, but she
it's-
quit her job to be like this advocate, right, for
Yeah.
the left, and she was going to hit hard. And
Sure. which is hilarious because of the story I'm about to tell you. Like, if I'm going to quit my job, I better have a pretty good idea about what I'm getting into, who I'm dealing with, who are the players involved. She's just figured out yesterday that Lindsey Graham might be a homo. You want me to take
Lindsey Graham?
You want me to take you seriously as like a political whatever you are.
Right.
And you didn't know until yesterday. I saw this guy on TV yesterday. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Really? We've been mocking Lindsey Graham for years.
Lindsey Graham.
So she was watching. Did you see Trump held that open meeting? Yeah, with
Meeting.
I said a me.
Yeah.
Meeting, I said a meal.
That.
That was kind of cool, by the way. Having both sides in it.
Bipartisan meeting.
Yeah, and that was totally because everybody was like, I think he had a stroke.
Yeah.
I think he's mentally ill because he didn't know the words to the anthem, or they thought he didn't. And so it was like, really? Fine. I'll hold a public meeting.
Everybody can see me.
I'll be brilliant. I'm going to run the whole thing. I'm going to be the point man. And I think it worked. People were like, it wasn't bad. You know,
it was the best meeting.
the best. When you speak of meetings and you think of good ones, this was the best one.
It will be written about for years.
And so Lindsey, he got on camera at one point, and obviously Chelsea was watching this. And so
Lindsey had something to say.
Lindsey did. Lindsey was like, we are going to be the talk of Fox News and alt-right radio tomorrow. They're going to be making fun of us. And so right-wing radio and stuff like that was like, fuck you, Lindsey. What are you talking about? They got kind of pissed at him. So anyway, she sees this, and she's like, holy fuck.
That guy could be a homo.
I just saw a video of Trump's bipartisan meeting. Hey, Lindsey Graham, what kind of dick-sucking video do they have on you for you to be acting like this? Wouldn't coming out be more honorable?
Gross. That's boorish.
It is.
Wow, is that okay? Why would dick sucking be wrong?
That's the point of the
Right.
controversy here.
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
And that's what people said, like, oh, wow, that you make it sound like sucking dicks is a bad thing, which it is. It is.
I actually agree that it is on both ends. If I were a chick, I wouldn't suck a dick.
I know. Across the board, it's gross.
It's just, there's just a touch of shame. That, like, every time someone does it to me, I'm, like, so grateful and thankful, but they just go down a tiny notch. That's all. It's not a bad thing. But to me, I'm like, really? You just figured out? Lindsey's never been married and doesn't have kids either.
No.
So just the
But
fact
he was
they talk
busy in the
like that,
service.
I was a warmonger. I'm a hawk.
He is a hawk. He
I'm a
is
hawk.
a warmonger. He was. He is.
I hate the hypocrisy of stuff like this, where it's like, oh, you're a super fan of the gays until there's someone on the other side you don't like, and then it's like dick sucking video, like make it sound bad. It's like really, women.
Well,
women.
women's. I love women's.
Women's.
The response could be, well, he's a Republican and therefore he's so against homosexuality, right? Broad brush it like that,
True.
and say, but here you are, a dick sucker. Like I wasn't ripping on dick suckers. I was ripping on Republican dick suckers because they would be, if you broad brush it, against dick sucking.
Well, she's Ms. All about the women's. She's the one that's going to be out there rallying, fighting for women, unless they're on the other side. And then we'll just tweet pictures of Sarah Huckabee Sanders and, make
Rip on her
fat,
eyelashes.
Her eyelashes, her pie, how fat she is, body shape, like all that shit.
Leave
It's
that
like,
to us, Chandler, okay?
Yeah.
Leave it.
That's our world.
Handler. Chandler.
But it's like, yeah, we've been, have
Can we just call her Chandler?
Chandler?
Chelsea Handler.
Chandler, yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, are we bad guys for doing our Lindsey Graham? I mean, there is something there.
Bad guys? Are we bad guys? That's an interesting question, Mike.
Because I don't know if you want the answer to that, Mike.
Look, listen. I'll be totally honest with you. I've often wondered if there's maybe a dick sucking video of Lindsey Graham.
Of course,
has somewhere.
Of course, with John McCain in specific. Dude,
who?
Those two love each other. Oh my God,
They love war.
that's true.
You think would they 69? If
Dude, they're like
suck
best
dicks, would
friends,
they-
man.
I know. Yeah, they weren't they hunting or something or fishing recently?
They were trouncing through a river recently.
Just two guys out in the wilderness having fun.
Just knee deep in a river.
What are these poles? And just set them down, Lynn. Seriously, just set them down. Let's go snuggle and take this day in. I've wondered that. Not that it's a bad thing. If it's out there, good for him.
Maybe he just has a fucked up voice like E. You know, he sounds gay. He's not. I know.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the line, at least.
yeah.
But you know,
Well, there was one guy that I worked because, like, usually when a guy's like that, it's like, you know, there's a point where it's like, oh yeah, he sounds like he does, but when you get that guy that's just like flamboyant and Lindsey Grahamish, like, it's hard not to. I've met one guy. There was one guy I worked with, married, loved his wife, kids, and was just like, oh, that fuchsia, spectacular. No, I do all the interior decorating at my house, and it was like, oh, he's just got us like this. He just has to. How could he not? But I don't know that he did.
God, I wish I could remember the name now. There's a show on USA Network I know, and I only know because it follows wrestling. And it's a reality show based on this rich dude and his family, and he sounds and looks so freaking gay. But his wife is like smoking hot, and he's in a
there you go.
Georgia.
Maybe he's bi. Maybe he's not gay.
Yeah. Or he's just not honest with himself.
I was gonna, it's funny when you mentioned the political activism for a job. I'd forgotten about this, but on New Year's when I was in Grand Rapids, we were talking to this group of girls. We talking to this group of girls with Ty, Matt, and me, and this one girl I was asking what they did, and this one girl said, "Well, I'm a political activist," and I'm like, and I kind of like, oh, how much does that pay? She's like, oh, kind of a lot, and I'm like, well, what do you do? What do you mean? And like, she started getting into just being in Washington and essentially just saying she protested against anything that Trump does.
She's a pro-protester.
And,
wow.
And
How
like,
sad is that?
I tried to get more into it, but they were actually kind of like, we'd been talking to them for a few minutes, and I think they were okay. Ty and Matt had a good joking around here and there, but I kind of started pressing about this. What does it pay and stuff?
He's interested in the job.
Well, no. I'm like, wow, what does that pay? And then she started saying it, and then I noticed she said, well, it was nice meeting you guys. I think she didn't want to get into it too much. I don't think she wanted to get into why she gets paid to be a pro-protester, essentially.
Pro-period.
Pro-period protester.
I've seen those stories. Usually it's like, oh, George Soros is paying for, Antifa or these people to come out. And when I read those, I'm always... It looks real. There's a number, and I've wanted us to call those numbers, and they usually don't work. And
Antifa!
I've looked at Snopes or whatever, and they say it's bullshit that this doesn't happen. But there's a lot of people out there that say that you can be paid to be at a Black Lives Matter rally and stir shit up. I don't know if I don't know. I mean,
I don't know exactly
what's
what
terrible.
Right. It is.
It's awful. Awful bust. They bust people in. But I wouldn't think they're put up and fed and paid. And
yeah, I didn't get enough into to say that about her exactly, but that's what she led me to believe.
Open about it, huh?
Right, she led me to believe that's what she was getting paid. That was her job. When I asked what her job was, that's what she said: political activist.
Dude, hilarious. That's even a job title. Did you see Seal attack Oprah yesterday?
Yeah, I did.
Good for him. I wouldn't think that's got to be hard. He's going to take shit as like an Uncle Tom or some shit for doing that. Seal is a black man. Oprah is a black woman. Our next president, probably, President Winfrey. But I saw this meme going around, of like all the pictures, and there's like a dozen of them of Oprah and Harvey Weinstein just like making out and hugging and blah, blah, blah. And so he sent this out, I believe, on Instagram. And so it's got a picture of her kissing Harvey Weinstein. When you've been part of the problem for decades, and then another picture of those two together, but suddenly they all think you are the solution. Oof. Which is kind of a shot, and I guess he took some heat for it. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of the Oprah thing as far as, because there's a lot of people. It's easy to just go, of course she knew. She's been friends with Harvey Weinstein for blah, blah, blah. I'm like, really? I don't know. I never thought of Oprah as, like, full of shit or...
Yeah, I'd be surprised if she buried that sort of stuff. If she had, like, direct knowledge and would bury that.
I'm not
She
saying...
might have heard whispers and didn't follow up with it, which, could be viewed as just as bad. But
I could see, like, if people are like, oh, yeah, Harvey loves the young ones. And it's like, oh, Harvey. Like, but as far as if Oprah really got wind and it was credible that he was really, like, abusing women, 3 a.m. calls to his hotel to go over the script, I just don't think Oprah would stand for that.
I agree with you.
Don't you?
At least that's her persona.
Yeah.
That'd be surprising.
But as you often say, you son of a bitch, we don't know these people. We don't know them. I know her poor house got lit up and all muddy.
Yeah, but it escaped most of that mudslide, right?
Yeah, I know.
Of course it did.
I'm looking at
Living
I'm
a
like,
charmed life, man.
I'm like, oh wow, that's terrible. What's going on in Montecito? I'm seeing this river of mud, and basically what has happened is they had all those wildfires in Southern California, which torched the land, made the soil, blah blah blah. And so when it rains once a year, and it happened in like 5 minutes, it just downpoured, and all this soil was just like it just took off, dropping boulders. On who was it? Jimmy Connors had to be airlifted out of.
Oh no!
He had to be airlifted, helicopter.
James Conner.
Yeah.
Dang, man. Is that a godforsaken land? I mean, California. Like in 300 years, is there just going to be a chunk of that gone?
Probably, but then what? Like Colorado is the new coast or something, you know? I don't know. It is weird. Yeah, there's so much that can go wrong there. But I'm looking at this. I'm feeling bad, and she's got videos and this and that. And then I get this picture of her house, and I'm like, oh, go fuck yourself.
Oh, man.
I don't care.
This is the one in California?
That's the one in Montecito, yeah. How about that crib?
And she's probably got 19 others, so even if she lost that one, it'd be okay.
She must pay $300 a month to a maid to clean that thing. You know
I
what I mean?
yeah,
like,
I
that
think.
is a hotel.
It's amazing.
Look at that. Can you imagine that, E?
Oh, shit.
Her neighbors are like Rob Lowe, Jimmy Connors.
Yeah.
And,
Ellen.
Ellen. And when I'm seeing these tweets, I'm like, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, and of course, like, the 17 people who have died so far are, like, regular people, you know? We
Isn't
couldn't
that
get rid
weird?
of some asshole.
I know. There's a chance. There's 8 missing.
Oh, all right.
One of the news outlets put out.
But are all celebrities accounted for?
I
'Cause
think
what-
so,
Fuck.
unfortunately. I know. I don't know if does Stedman count as a celebrity? I don't know if he's been accounted for. But yeah, they said 48 missing, and I was like, holy shit. And they're like, they have typo. Meant 8 missing.
Oh.
I saw some poor woman. She's like, yeah, here's a picture of my parents. They're missing right now. We're hoping they saddled up with a neighbor and just can't get
Sure.
phone service to us right now. And I'm like,
I reckon that's likely.
dear. Oh, boy. That's not good. But these guys are all sending out tweets. Oh, thoughts and prayers. We need some thoughts and prayers.
Doing what they can, Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Amazon.
Amazon.
Please use our affiliate links. You'll see our Amazon and Groupon links above the fold at DetroitCast.com. Click on them. Shop away. Doesn't cost more. The key is to click through our links, however. Also, make sure you shop MyPillow.com.
Yes.
For all your betting-related needs. Use TDC code for the very best discount.
Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Kind of an asshole. Hasn't he been accused of, like, is he sexual assaulted women or just beat the dog shit out of
Boy, I
them?
don't remember.
I want to say I'm leaning towards beating the shit out of women.
Yeah, I did.
It's kind of his thing.
Probably.
Yeah, we
I
could
see
probably
that.
bing that and find out. But one of the two, maybe both, I don't know. But they caught him on the streets. I don't know. Actually, it wasn't TMZ that caught him, but someone did. And they were like, oh, how do you feel? They love doing this. Put a microphone in a celebrity's face. How do you feel about the Me Too movement? And you better, know what to say.
Well, this isn't
doesn't
just
even
on
know
a-
what it is.
This isn't just on the street. This was like he was promoting some virtual reality fighting something. I mean, it was like a
But it's
media
a
outlet.
crash interview. Like, here's a microphone in your face. I'm going to ask you about this.
Yeah, he wasn't prepped for the Me Too
No,
issue.
yeah, I got you.
Are you guys prepared? Like, if someone runs up to you
Of
on the
course.
street,
I'm prepared with all hashtags. I review hashtags every
you
day.
do.
Yeah.
Can we practice really quick, Jay? Like,
God.
all right, I'm man on the street guy. Mr. Detroit Cast, Mr. Detroit Cast.
Yeah, I have little time.
I
but
know this will just take a second.
I'm a very busy man.
I understand that. This will only take a second.
Okay, go ahead. Ask me about a hashtag.
How do you feel about the hashtag Me Too movement going on in the country right now?
I think it's bullshit.
There's your picture now plastered everywhere as you're in mid bullshit. So they got your ugly face. Now they've turned you into an ugly weird face.
Yeah.
And Mr. Detroit Cast, outrage.
Oh, my
Mr.
gosh.
Detroit Cast, he says it's bullshit. E, are you ready?
Well, I already know what I would say. I mean,
What would you say honestly? If the camera was stuck in your face, it's like, how do you feel about the Me Too
time's
movement?
up is what I'd say. You know what? I'd fight your hashtag with the next hashtag and say, time's up. That's what I would say.
You can get away with saying something like, boy, I think the whole issue is troubling, to say the least.
There you go. See, that's perfect.
That's all the time I have. Jeez, fellas, have a
I
great
must
day.
go now.
Have a great day, guys. Good to see you.
I mean, is there anyone outside of what we're going to play here for you in a second with Mr. Mayweather, I mean, isn't that just the go-to? Like, I would think every agent in town would be calling their people going, look, if some asshole sticks a camera in your face, says, hashtag Me Too, hashtag time's up, hashtag they all knew.
Is there a generic answer to any question about a hashtag? Could you say, I think there's elements of this that are troubling, but also hopeful?
Okay, would that work with, yeah, okay. that works in a situation like where was the last tornado that went through and just devastated an area?
Yeah, Florida.
Okay,
right?
and it's like, well, what do you mean, Mr. Detroit Cast? What do you mean it's terrible, troubling, but hopeful? And then you can
I think obviously the destruction, the level of destruction,
is troubling.
But to see humanity react the way they have, I think is
to see communities come together like this,
it's great hope.
To see neighbors looking after each other, but where is your hope for the hashtag Me Too?
Well, I think it's brought the conversation, you know, it's put it in the forefront, and we're talking about it. I think that's what's most important, that we talk about it.
What are some other famous hashtags? Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. How do you feel about hashtag Black Lives Matter?
I think in a lot of ways it's very troubling, but hopeful at the same time.
Oscar's so white.
I think in a lot of ways it's troubling, but hopeful at the same time.
Bring back our girls.
Yeah, it's troubling, but hopeful at the same time. See? That's the answer.
Dude, how many words? You've come up with the perfect answer.
Troubling, but hopeful.
Although what they're going to do, some asshole's going to be onto you, and then they're going to go, they're going to post your last 8 disaster tweets, and they're going to say, they go, I think he's pulling wool. I think he's being a smartass. No,
son of a bitch.
It fits for everything. I find this a little bit troubling, but at the same time, a bit hopeful.
That we can move on, you know, that we can find
So help me if anybody fucking asks me about one of these, you know.
Just remember, troubling,
tweets.
but hopeful.
This is, I got to be honest, I find this whole story a bit troubling, but you
There's
know, at the
elements
same time,
of hope.
Hopeful, you know. That's all the time I got. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I really mean it. Thank you. I love it. So, going back to Floyd Mayweather, he's asked about hashtag Me Too. How does someone like him not know? Like, I don't think he's ever heard.
Dude.
Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, Floydrick.
It's about burning calories.
You backing it up?
So he's talking about his virtual reality deal.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, back in the other room, you said life is about growing.
Yes.
And we're asking a lot of men, in light of the Me Too movement, how men can grow.
What's he supposed to say, by the way?
The Me Too movement, women speaking out about sexual assault.
How
can
when
men
you say
grow?
Me
It's an
Too,
easy answer.
My thing is this: when somebody be like, "Oh, I got a Rolls Royce," I'll be like, "Me too." When somebody say they got a private jet, I say, "I got 2, but me too."
Very different.
Well, I didn't know. My Me Too movement from the beginning was whenever somebody said they got, I'd be like, "Me too." Somebody say they got $1 billion, I said, "I made $1 billion, me too."
I know you have a sensitive side. You've talked about your sensitive side before.
Well, of
Well,
course.
yeah, of
I mean,
course. It's
you
part
know,
of
you live, you
growing.
learn, but you know, I think there's everyone.
She's assuming he was
if you're
joking.
in an uncomfortable
right.
position.
No, he
I
doesn't
mean,
know.
You have to pray about it. You know, talk about it, and I think that sexual harassment. I don't think it's cool at all.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Thank God he doesn't think it's cool.
Dude, he pulled it all together at the end.
He did.
He
He
knew what
probably
it
had
was.
someone off camera going, dude.
They're going,
His buddy's off camera mouthing to him, I find it troubling, but somewhat hopeful, you fuck. We've been through it.
by the way, he does have a history of domestic violence. That's what Bing indicated.
I mean, dude, look what he does for a living. I mean, the guy
How
loves
can you
what he does for a
blame
living.
him? He's a pugilist.
You know? I mean, some people, it's not even work for him.
Brings his work
You
home
know,
too
he-
much.
Yeah. It's like, dude, that guy loves his job. He can't put it aside. It's like he's working round the clock.
He lives to work.
That's right. Is it fair or even right to stick a camera in someone like Mayweather's? It's like, or Mike Tyson's face,
Oh, I
and
know.
and expect.
These guys have been pounded in the head 8 million times. What do we expect?
I mean-
no, you're to expect exactly what you got.
Yeah.
A nice soundbite. So yeah, I think it's fair.
I just think it's like, oh, well, yeah, it's Floyd Mayweather, whatever. I mean, he punches faces for a
Yeah.
living. What do you expect? Women, men, whatever. I mean,
Well, if that guy's going to enjoy the fruits of being out in the open in public and enjoy all the money that comes with that, yeah, you know what? You're going to get hit with questions
Yeah.
about normal things going on in the world. And if you come out looking like an asshole, well,
Yeah.
so be it.
I mean, I think there's a difference, though, if you, like, catch Lindsey Graham on the street. Go,
Lindsey Graham.
Lindsey, what do you think of the Me Too movement? And he was like, yeah, I thought you meant like, my friend said, I made $1 billion. Yeah, me too. Hashtag me too. Like, then you'd be like, Lindsey, really?
Sure, the expectation is different, but I don't think it's
I'm rich
unfair
as
to
balls.
see what Floyd might think, especially
Yeah.
given his history of domestic violence, apparently, alleged.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but these guys do not come off as like the
Oh, I know.
smartest
Oh, I know.
or, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, backstage you were telling me that, part of life is growing. Is there any dumber or weaker answer than growing as you get older? That's like, well, what do you want for the world? Well, I'd like world peace. Okay,
Right.
good. Good for you.
Very thoughtful.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important that we continue growing as we get older. Well put. So it doesn't surprise me, but at least at the end, he did, quote, say that sexual harassment is, quote, not cool.
Yeah.
So that's
It was sort of
good.
like, it reminded me when we asked Jerry whether there was a line in terms of what's appropriate sexually.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, clearly, children, sex with children. And, he got there. He got there.
And well, he
got there. He
Dude.
expressed the line, right? Right? He did, didn't he?
My heart sank when you brought up pedophilia, and he was like, well, there's no well, Jerry. Well, in some cultures, no. I was like, oh my
Hi,
God.
Mike.
Hi, Jay. I was like, oh my God, Jay's going to launch at him. Jay is not going to take that sitting down. And I'm just like, bag up. Let's get back to jacking off in a room with dudes, all right? Something cool.
Back in his wheelhouse.
That's creative.
Well,
Well, that's all right.
Hey, got to tell you about the Hamlin Pub. 5 locations, Clarkston, Chesterfield, Rochester, and 2 in Shelby Township. Hamlin Pub offers a wide selection of craft beers, most of which are brewed right here in Michigan. They have great happy hour specials Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m., and half-off appetizers on Monday. So check out all their specials at all 5 locations. Go to hamlinpubs.com for more info.
Have you heard the name Logan Paul before?
Oh, yeah.
Have
Yeah,
you?
Little sweet pie. The tiny girl! Has watched that dude.
Really? So
Yeah.
you were familiar with him before, like, last week when
Oh, yeah.
the news broke on him?
Yeah.
I pulled that story, like, twice last week, and I was like, nah.
Yeah, he's a douche.
I watched one of his videos. I was like, no.
Douche.
Why does this fucking asshole have 20 million subscribers? Why does he make $15 million a year?
I know.
Are you shitting me? They're not even like good. The
No.
ones I saw, anyways. I don't know. Maybe
He has a
they're
brother,
sour.
too, who's branched off and does his thing, too. I don't know.
Well,
He's big with the kids, though.
is he really?
Yeah.
Like, it's so. I don't know if you've ever watched him, but I saw he's like, yeah, here I am in China, and he's like walking around just kind of like fucking with people, like.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's not creative or funny or good. It's just like, bah, jump on it. Someone go, oh, jeez, didn't see you there. Did good, funny guy. It's like, wow, that was really creative. Great, you scared a fucking Chinaman. All right. Oh boy, didn't see you there for a second. But anyway, I guess he. You familiar with the story where he went into the
The
woods,
suicide forest.
suicide forest, and there's a dead body there. What do you know? In Suicide Forest, and
Yeah, apparently there's a stretch of forest in Japan that's known
Yeah.
for people go there and commit suicide. I don't know the background of it, but it's a fact. Like people
Yeah.
go there and hang themselves and shit.
it's like the Golden Gate Bridge.
So he went there as like a thing. Oh, I'm going to check out this suicide forest, see what this is all about. And
Yeah.
there's actually a dude hanging there.
And so he then is, I think he was live for like 15 minutes or something. And while he's recording, they're laughing a little
Yeah.
bit and like, oh, look at his hands. Oh, kind of making fun of it. And then at the end,
Dude,
it's like,
what human being would have that reaction? That is so disturbing.
yeah. But then I think at the end, it's like, suicide is already.
Yeah, it's about mental health. And
Yeah. And then try to like worm it into this category of like, well, we're doing a PSA here. Like,
Right.
dude, really? You cannot be giggling next to a dead fucking body. And so-
Japanese or not.
Exactly. And so anyway, people watch this video, his followers, he's got millions and millions of them, and of course they're disturbed.
And a lot of them are little sweet pies, you know?
I hope
Tiny girls!
Tiny girl didn't see
No,
the dead
she
guy
didn't
hanging,
see
did
it.
she? So, yeah, they end up pulling the video, and he gets an onslaught of negative, of people just like demanding that he fuck off and,
Yeah.
die and himself, and suicide's serious. And so he has to take, like, dear internet, I guess that's to all of us.
I would say so.
Let's start this way with this. I'm sorry. And then he writes this whole thing from his account. This is a first for me. I've never faced criticism like this before. I've never made a mistake like this before. I'm surrounded by good people, and I believe I make good decisions, but I'm still human. I can be wrong. I didn't do it for views. I get views. I did it because I thought I could make a positive ripple on the internet, not cause a monsoon of negativity.
Bullshit.
That's never my intention. I intended to raise awareness for suicide and suicide prevention. And while I do this shit every day, I made videos, blah, 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 blah. I'm often reminded how big my reach is. I love you all. Blah. It goes on and on.
YouTube ditched him.
Yeah, that's the
Kicked
update of the
off.
story. And I don't know how I feel about that. I wanted to talk to you about it because, yeah, it's a disturbing video. It sucks. They've pulled it. It wasn't up that long. I hate the idea of these massive, massive companies with no oversight, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google, deciding for us what is okay and what isn't. It's a slippery slope. No offense to our Asian listeners. It's a very dangerous area when you're going to let some corporation decide because political motives come into play. And then it's like, well, what else do they deem insensitive or wrong? Is it some guy that loves Trump too much? Is it, some guy
that's the question about ISIS videos, right? I mean, that was the whole argument. Like, do we take ISIS propaganda shit off Twitter and YouTube, etc.?
Yeah.
Or do we just let it sit there just like anything else? Because if we start policing, the problem is exactly what you say. Where's the line?
Right. And to me, there's not much of an argument to be made. I think it's fair to say if someone's cutting off a head, you don't leave that up on YouTube. I think there's just some levels where you can't film a video of you screaming fire in a fucking crowded theater, and cutting off a head should fall into that category too. But I could make the argument of why this whatever
hanging
Muslim preacher cleric whatever is got these videos online that are hate speech, deemed hate speech. I hate when they say hate speech because we've seen it this year especially where people are very, very easy to go, you just don't agree with them. I have conservative views, I lean this way, blah, blah, blah. Racist.
It's the Google employee just yesterday, the Danmore guy. He's suing Google for being fired for his memo, having a different viewpoint on things.
I don't know,
dude. I mean, we live in a civilized society, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we should.
Yeah.
Shouldn't there be a standard? Shouldn't there be a line? And I don't know what that line is. I agree with you, but
it's hard to.
I know it when I see it, sort of thing. I mean, that was the definition that the Supreme Court gave to pornography.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just gonna take these companies. Hey, I know it when I see it. I see a line. I see enough outcry. Is that part of it too?
Yeah,
that's a problem.
Waiting a week and then, well, we heard you and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they say they listen, but that's an issue too because how people can rally behind a certain side and a certain cause.
Right,
so
right.
Then it becomes political. But I don't know. I just think we're civilized, man.
Yeah.
Take a video of a hanging guy down. When a lot of these subscribers are kids, too,
Totally, and I don't have any problem with that. Taking that down, I really don't.
For to carry this banner of free open speech and this and that. Like, dude, let's have some line here, some degree of civility.
Yeah, and I agree with you totally. The problem is I don't trust them.
Oh, I know. I agree. It's a problem.
I
don't doubt.
Here's my fear. Here's my big fear. Because we use these things too, right?
Dude, we got nixed for Dick Clark the other day.
Right. But we are
Dick Clark.
We don't. There's such a monopoly. It's like if you're not on YouTube, you're invisible. If you're not using Google, I mean, we make it work with Bing, but for the most part, Google owns 95% of the information on the planet.
Yeah.
As far as word goes,
it's a real problem,
dude. That's beyond monopoly, and so you have to use them. You don't have a choice for some of these massive companies. Now, if we, part of what we do. I love nothing more, Jay, than making you laugh legitimately, and I love nothing more also than making you go, oh, fuck. Oh, shit, he just said that. Oh, okay. All right, now we're here. I love that feeling of disturbing you and legitimately making you laugh. But to do that, you push the line sometimes. And my fear is, while this is an obvious one, oh, yeah, you can't cut people's heads off and throw it on the internet. You can't have a hanging body in the background and try to make light of it. And no, that's not acceptable. But if we say something over the line and YouTube decides, no, it goes beyond the blah, blah, blah of good
standards.
Taste. Yeah, the standards, their own standards,
right.
And then all of a sudden you're done. And that's my fear.
Well, that's a legitimate fear, but the fact is, good for them for having a company with that much power. I mean, they grew it, and honestly, do we have a right to some company putting us online all day long, no matter what we say? Do we? I don't know.
I think you almost do when you're the only game in town. If you're going to be the only one.
No, I mean, the argument against that is go stream elsewhere.
You can't.
Well, not as effectively, not as easily, not as cheaply, but you can. And that's a fact. And I'm sorry. I mean, I know it's not like it's not the clean, easy, beautiful answer we like, but the
Yeah.
fact is they are in control.
Well,
and I agree with you.
They're being irresponsible with that control, though, is the problem. They have no problem taking Milo Yiannopoulos and ditching his whole thing. You're not on Twitter anymore. You're not on Facebook. But get out of here. We don't believe what you believe. But, you know, Chelsea Handler can say, Lindsey Graham, what dick-sucking video they have of you. Very homophobic, offensive to a lot of people. I don't think, whatever, it doesn't offend me. But should she lose her account? No. She won't lose her account, though, because she's on the right side of the side that YouTube's on. And
It's
the
on
side
of justice.
Yeah. And so that's where it's like, all right, we see them all the time throwing these people out for, you know, saying something you don't agree with. And, you know, we say stuff that people don't agree with a lot. And so that's my ultimate fear, though. That's why I think it's a discussion worth having because of all the power they have. That's all.
For sure.
So, I don't know. So the kid, you know, he's a part of this. Like, they nixed everything. He's getting paid for tons of shit. There's like YouTube entertainer groups that these guys tour around with, foursome, I guess they call it or something. Gone, done. Nixed his account, 15 million subscribers or 22 million subscribers, making 14 million a year. Done.
Yeah. I mean, that was his outlet. That was the way he posted his art. That was his that was his job.
I'd keep an eye on him. You might find him hanging in that Japanese forest before long. Dude, that's brutal. Because that guy did not see that shit coming. You can tell by his reaction in that video. You know? What is the reaction you should have, though? If you walked in there, you're live streaming, and it's like, holy shit, there's a body there.
You shut it down. You go, holy shit, there's a body. Okay,
This is incredible. Who do we call?
We got to end this. We'll be back.
Yeah. That's it. You don't keep rolling a little bit and talk about, oh my God, how
Maybe you
serious
take
this
it
is.
off the live stream and you tape it, but you don't post it. You know what I mean?
You tape it.
And then you consider it. And you consider, like, is this the right thing to post?
I think if you take the camera off the body, for sure. But if you and I are doing that, we're walking through the forest and he's hanging in a tree, right? Just that's the scenario. And I mean, obviously, it's going to be like fucking. We'll get through our high fives and all that shit. But once we do, I think it's safe to like at that point be like, oh my God, dude, have that still going, not on E's body, but just going. Who do we call? Does your phone? Are you getting a signal? Should we call 911? What do we do here? I don't even know what to do.
It's definitely not turn the camera toward the body and laugh.
Look at his hands.
I know it's absurd.
Yeah. I was trying to make a difference in society, raise awareness. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. Let's take a quick break. And then another, I thought this was fake news. Someone had, I think, emailed us yesterday and was like, hey, man, did you see that Ohio basketball team?
Yeah.
With the racist jerseys?
Cincinnati.
I read that and I was like, nah, this didn't happen. This can't have happened.
The Wet Dream Team? Is that what you're referring to?
I kind of like that name, honestly. 'Cause it plays off the Dream Team, which we all know.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, okay, got it, yeah.
See it, the Wet Dream Team.
Wow.
Just coming in your bed when you're sleeping. So, yeah, we'll get to that story and much more next. And E.
Big E history.
Big E history.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break.
Hi everyone, this is Kelly Menino, your event coordinator for the Hamlin Pubs. Did you know that Hamlin Pubs offer 2 private rooms at each location, both located in Shelby Township? We specialize in all kinds of events, from bridal and baby showers, dinner rehearsals, to corporate luncheons and wedding receptions. My team is committed to making your occasion your most memorable event. Give me a call today so that we can plan your next event. Call me at 586-596-1425 or visit our website at hamlinpubs.com.
The Detroit Cast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Detroit Cast, powered by DealsInTheD.com for Mike and Jay. And of course, once we shut off the microphones, we keep yelling at each other.
Yeah, about YouTube.
Yeah. You're wrong.
Okay.
Just saying.
You're kind of like the guy who wants everybody to have the right to water without paying, right? Everybody should have the right to YouTube.
No.
Explain yourself, Mike.
No, we've done this before, we fight, and I love how you stick up for big corporate America. I'm a sellout corporate America guy.
Just a realist, man.
I know you are. But, no, I think there's a...
Try to look at it without emotion. You get emotional about these things?
No, I think
about
it's...
fairness?
I think it's dangerous is what I think.
I definitely believe it's dangerous. Google is an amazing company that has taken so much information on all of us and collected it, and it's scary.
It's scary as shit.
But that's been their business model. Like, we won't charge you. Instead, we'll give you all these services.
Yeah.
We'll make them real easy and fun to use, and go ahead and use them. And in the meantime, they're just collecting.
You keep hearing sprinkles of stories here and there, and usually it's something that you're like, yeah, fuck that guy, who cares? But when you take a look back, like there's a religious guy here, you know, this guy is hardcore conservative, and he's posting videos about how I'm not going to use these weird pronouns now, and he gives a little 5-minute speech on how I'm not playing this fucking game with you people, acting like this guy is now a lady and I need to call him man. Fuck you. I'm not doing it. They yank the video. Someone complains. They yank the video down. It can no longer be monetized. It can't be promoted. It can't be anything. And so now Google, YouTube is owned by Google. Google has made this decision now. This isn't hate speech. This wasn't dangerous to anybody. It's not saying go out and kill anybody. You know, it's an opinion that some people find ancient and stupid, but it's his opinion, and it's easy to go, fuck that guy, whatever, who cares? He's one dude. But precedent is now set that I don't like what he said, shut it down. And there are tens of thousands, if not millions of people like you and I that make our living off this thing. And so when you're making...
Well, you know what? Shame on us for building a business model that depends on a company like Google.
Yeah.
We have no replacement for it. Shame on us for doing that.
Okay, I know what you're saying, and it's hard to argue with that because you're right. But when you've got it's not a monopoly. I mean, we don't need YouTube. You know what I mean? So it's not a traditional monopoly, but it is in the sense that
we have a human right to it.
There's that or nothing, and so
no, you can dig holes with your hands. Think of it this way: if we have a hole digging business and we're digging holes with our hands and we're doing a decent job, but then we find out this company comes along and they say, we'll give you a shovel.
Yeah,
and you can use
it's
this
my right to have that shovel.
You can
now.
use this shovel for free. Just don't, just make sure you comply with our terms of use. And our terms of use include you can use it, but we can also take it away if we find that you're digging in a place we don't like, and we'll be the arbiters of that.
We find you're beating squirrels to death.
So let's say we dig in a place they don't like and they take away our shovel. What right do we have to say, no, give us that shovel because that helps us dig holes easier?
Well, that's fine as long as there's a Home Depot down the street and I can go buy another shovel.
No, that's not.
If that's the only thing in the world is that shovel.
That doesn't work, dude. Too bad.
But okay. Well, then
as long as there's another Home Depot where you can buy a shovel.
Yeah.
I mean, good for Google for building this incredible business that everybody relies on.
Let's say they've got 2 shovels, and you and I have one, and this guy over here has one, and they just like him. And so they just decide.
I know, that sucks.
Fuck you. We're taking
it's unfair. The world's not fair.
It's not fair.
I think your dad might have mentioned that before.
And it's bullshit. Yeah, he did. He did a lot. Look, listen.
I'm not at all trying to counter the notion that this is scary shit.
Yeah.
That there is this company that has so much information that can shut down certain ones and promote others. I think that's incredibly frightening. I mean, Facebook's the same way. You know, a lot of these social media things are the same way. But, dude, we don't have a right to continue to demand that YouTube allow that guy that you just mentioned who doesn't like the pronouns to be back on there. I mean, dude, this is a private company. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well...
God bless them for making a company that everybody's involved in and interested in.
Well, I agree with you on some levels. I think we're in uncharted waters now where we've got unregulated companies that are bigger than we've ever seen on the planet. And they're just going there, doing their thing. And when you see stories like the Google engineer that's suing them, Damore or whatever, those are really scary stories about, like these people are making decisions in their little echo chamber that maybe don't agree with most of the planet, and they're the only guy in town.
I'm not countering the frightening nature of that.
Right.
I totally agree with you.
And so what do we do about that? Like, to me, here's the problem, dude. Name one video streaming service out there that Mr. Tube, where are you, Mr. Tube?
I mean, you have another example, totally a tangent, but Amazon relying on the U.S. Postal Service to deliver its shit. You know, like Trump pointed that out the other day. Like, this is bullshit. They've used our government delivery system to grow this.
Great point.
And, you know, I mean, the government could yank that, I suppose, take that away, and then Amazon has to react to that.
Oh, that's funny.
It's a market, dude. It's capitalism. It's how business works.
I kind of look at it like, okay, here's what you do. You're a company. You do this. I don't want you going now, getting all fucking liberally googly and deciding what works and what doesn't for you. Like, here's what you are.
But isn't that the stockholders or the stockholders' obligation is to do that, dude? Is to do what's best for the company.
There's no competition. What are they going to do?
What do you mean?
What are they going to fail? How do you let the stock people down for YouTube? You're going to take a hit? People might go, "Oh, I'm never using it again." Really? You're not? Where are you going?
Wait, I'm lost, I guess.
My point is they're so big and there's no other people out there, you can't really hurt them. You need everybody that wants to watch a fucking video has to go to them.
So sorry, they're powerful, yes.
Yeah, yes. And they're a monopoly.
They're
and
powerful.
it's scary. And they're making judgment calls.
I don't doubt that it's
scary.
I'm not disagreeing with you with that. That is scary.
So what do you do? I mean, is there any sort of government regulation where it's like, no, man, you have a third party that decides on what content is okay
is
or
that
not?
What we want the government into YouTube? Should
the
government do it?
Dude, when they get as big as they are, I wouldn't mind a little government oversight.
Let's make the government bigger.
I don't want a bigger government.
Conversation.
Dude, they're bigger than the government.
Like you do.
They're bigger than the government. That scares you. I know it does, and you're being a dick face right now, but it scares you. And I think a little oversight for Google, especially when they're being all wacky right now.
I share the same fears, Mike, as I said many times. I just don't think there's an answer here.
Well, I hope
Google is king, and they're powerful as fuck.
Well, I hope Mr. Google doesn't decide to just turn the lights off tomorrow, because that'd be a real dick move, sir.
Cash it in.
Yeah. Well, see you guys later. Hope it was fun while it lasted. Why don't we start something? Why don't we start a new streaming service?
Okay.
We'll be YouTube. With the whole lawyer thing and the joke of you. Yeah. And just be YouTube. And we start it, and then we'll go, hey, guys, we're over here if you want. You could put in anything you want up there.
Yep, go ahead. You can do that.
It sounds like so much work. Oh, Google if it's hard to start a YouTube service.
Hard to start a YouTube service?
Yeah, Google that.
Google it. Bing it. Whatever.
Dude, it's Huli's problem with Richard Hendricks.
Yeah.
Back to Silicon Valley again.
Yeah.
Silicon.
Yeah, silicon. Get it right. No, I'm just.
You're frustrated.
I'm very frustrated because here's the new.
Get emotional about it.
Here's the new YouTube policy. When hate speech, something I don't agree with, by the way, it doesn't have to actually be hate speech. It could just be a doctor that's like, yeah, I don't want to say Z for that guy over there. I don't buy that. I'm not playing that game. If one guy complains and goes, yeah, the hate speech, it's deemed that.
The problem is, like, 20 minutes ago, though, you agreed we live in a civilized society and there must be lines, right? There must be. And you agreed that a suicide ought to be taken down off this guy's thing. So who are we to say? Again, that's the problem. Where's the line? That is the ultimate problem. That's what you keep coming around to.
Well, I guess I don't have a problem if they go, you know what, this goes beyond the realm of good taste, and we're not comfortable with it. There's a lot of complaints. We're pulling it down. But then to make the decision that on our holier-than-thou attitude that you can no longer make a living on our property, and I know you're going to go, yeah, let's turn off the lights if they want. I think that's shitty. I think that's shitty that in an instant you can lose everything when
Dude, let's think of it in terms of this studio. If you had people coming in to use this studio, wouldn't you want the right to go, dude, get the fuck out of here? I don't like what you're putting on the mic, man. That's bullshit.
What's he putting on the mic?
Well, I don't know. Just make it fucking totally inappropriate that you could not racist fucking shit.
What's wrong with that?
Racist shit.
But I don't think that you would let
What
that?
if he's just reading the Bible and I'm like,
okay,
let's the Bible reading.
Right.
Get out of here.
You're like, enough of the Bible reading. Get out of here. And that guy said, no, that's not fair. I want to use this studio. I know I'm not paying you, Mike, but I want to use this studio. And you have to go, okay.
I know, and I can take that stand because you know what? There's 20 million other studio
matter.
options.
I'm not a monopoly.
It
works whether there's 20 million studio options or not. It does.
But if I want
it's
to be
your prerogative.
if I want
as
to
the
be
business owner,
a religious station, I could be a religious station, and you can be a fucking Satanist station because there's options. My problem is there's not options.
My
it makes it
thing
unfair.
is
There's
it
too much
doesn't
power.
matter.
I know it doesn't. Technically, you're right. It's hard to argue because you're right, but I want people to understand when someone flags us because I said something inappropriate or E said something dumb or someone didn't like a snippet of him shitting on the driveway, and our livelihood's at stake. And we're decent people who are now caught up in this fucking bullshit that's going on right now where people
by whose standard
need to show how morally perfect they are. I'll show them. They will never make a living, blah, 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 blah.
I think the arguments are clear.
Yeah. Isis, are you ready for
Big E's history this day?
You're wrong, by the way. Just want to end it on that.
He's
note.
not.
Shut up, Isis. Do not side with him.
He's not.
I didn't mean to be right. Ready?
Trust me, I don't like it when he's right, but he's right.
Hate both of you.
I don't know. Whatever. Anyway. So anyway, it was on this date, January 11th, 1805. that Thomas Jefferson created the Michigan Territory. Now, not the state. This is not Michigan becoming a state. It's just Michigan becoming a territory.
What's the difference, E?
It took 32 years for them to become a state.
What's the difference between a territory and a state?
You had to be 60. You have to have an area has to have 60,000 or more people. Then they can write up a constitution, and if the United States government passes that, then you can be a state. You can
Interesting.
become a
So
state.
you couldn't become a state without being a territory. A territory.
True.
So wait, like as soon as person 60,000 went through the turnstile into Michigan, we became a state?
Michigan. No. Once you reach 60,000, you can write a state government, state constitution, and then the U.S. government has to say that, pass that, and then you can become a state.
Sweet.
It doesn't
God,
mean
we made it.
It doesn't mean that it's guaranteed, by the way. Now, I don't really have many visual aids. I do kind of have
I'm a visual
one.
learner,
I understand that. I only really have one, and this is just to explain.
That's the original territory?
Well, this is, if you look,
the whole Midwest, man.
This is when, if people were to be watching on YouTube, the one on the up left that's all white is when it was just the Northwest Territory. And then eventually Indiana took over some of this. And this is the
Goddamn Hoosiers.
This right here is the Indiana Territory.
It's striped. Is that why their basketball warm-ups are striped like
yes,
there?
Great point.
That's exactly why, Jay.
Dude, I wouldn't like this. This looks too much like Louisiana. Louisiana. Do you see an old man in there? You know when you look at something, you see like an old woman?
Yeah.
Do you see like his
like
jaw?
the Rorschach test? Rorschach test? Yeah, I see
Rorschach test.
So this was 1800. Then 1803 to 1805. This is when Michigan becomes...
like Michigan really looks like a dong, doesn't it?
Sure does.
I really thought about it. A
nice
ballless
hanging
dong.
one, yeah.
A ballless dong.
Ballless at this point.
What happens is...
It really has a bulbous head, too.
Yeah.
Not bulbous, but I don't know if it's clipped. Are we clipped?
I think it's clipped.
Yeah.
Once Ohio becomes a state, then Indiana, all this, Michigan, Indiana, what's like we know now is Wisconsin and Illinois, just becomes the Indiana Territory.
Wow.
Which is a big territory, obviously. So then, on this date...
I thought that was the UP.
So then Michigan, because Detroit at the time of this is like 300 miles away. They make the capital of the Indiana Territory at the city Vincennes. I don't know how to pronounce it. Vincennes.
Wait.
Vincennes? I don't know. I can't pronounce words.
Vincennes?
Okay.
Vincennes?
Got it.
Fine.
You'll probably know it because you know everything.
It's the one with the V up there. V-I-N-C.
It's the one with a V right under my thumb.
Vincennes?
Vincennes.
Well, anyway, that's the capital.
Just call it Vince. Let's just call him Vince.
Fine. Vince is the capital of the Indiana Territories.
Where's Vince? Where is he?
I don't exactly know where. I forget. I know. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But it was so far away from Detroit, like 350 miles away, and Detroit didn't have roads to get there, so people in Detroit started going, hey, this is bullshit. These guys are making decisions down here.
Yeah, fuck
and
them.
they're not affecting. We are not even getting a say in this. So finally, Detroit sends a petition. They get 300 signatures. It's funny because they say more than half the people agreed on this. What did I say? There was a reason I read this. There's a reason I said that.
He has a very Spicoli-esque way of presenting what the guys said.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. They said it was
said it's bullshit.
It was. It
I
says
just
that,
figured since you're here and I'm here,
it's
doesn't
our
that make it
time.
Well,
our
here's
time?
the thing. They said
Nothing
it.
wrong with a little feast on our time.
Well, here's the thing. In their like thing that the government's saying that there should be a different territory. They kind of say that they had a unanimous decision made by these people. 300 people signed the thing, but it just says about half the men living in the area. So it's not even like necessarily, it's like just kind of about half the men in the Detroit area signed a petition.
You want to hear what my argument would have been for making Michigan a state?
What?
Look, everybody, the thing looks like a mitten.
Totally.
Let's make it in half. Come on, let's make this a state. It can't be cut in half.
Well,
it's a mitten, man.
Just like Florida looks like a dong hanging off. You got to keep that Florida
looks just
dong
like a
going.
mitten.
Yep.
Well, again, it's not a state.
Louisiana looks like a boot. Leave it. Leave the boot. Leave the panoose. Leave the mitten is the most prominent one. You can't fuck with the mitten.
Well, again, it's not a state yet, and when it becomes the Michigan territory, we get the mitten that we all know of, and just a very, very small part of the Upper Peninsula. This black part
Now
of
that
the
looks like a dong. Yeah.
is not part of the Michigan territory. Although eventually the Michigan territory does end up kind of being over here by Wisconsin.
Yeah, I wonder what Wisconsin thought about that.
Right,
the
they were
rest
drunk
of the UP.
and eating cheese. They didn't even know. Whose ass did we have to kick to steal the UP?
Toledo.
Yeah,
that was we lost that, I believe. That was
Toledo?
that was in the Toledo War, and I believe we lost that.
The Toledo War.
Because originally, I actually learned this in my Michigan.
Toledo War. Who can forget?
I took a Michigan history class. Unfortunately, I do not remember all the facts well enough to, but I do know this.
I think you're wrong in your facts. You said Toledo won the Toledo War, and then somehow we still took
there
their
was
land?
a fight. No, because there was a fight for the bottom half of Michigan, where Toledo is. And based on how the drawings of the states were put up at the time, technically Toledo should have been part of Michigan. Like Michigan, Toledo. I'm certain of this. I'm certain that we lost that war and got the Upper Peninsula because of it.
The Toledo War, 1835 to 36, also known as the Michigan-Ohio War, was an almost bloodless boundary dispute between the U.S.
few cows died, I think.
The U.S. state of Ohio and the adjoining territory of Michigan. Poor geographical understanding of the Great Lakes helped produce conflicting state and federal legislation between those years, and varying interpretations of the laws led the governments of Ohio and Michigan to both claim jurisdiction over 468 square mile region now known as Toledo. I see nothing about the UPE. Are you sure about
I'm
this?
sure that was part of it.
460 miles.
I am certain of it.
Would Cedar Point be down
the
there?
The Maumee River?
No.
Cedar wouldn't get down to
I
Cedar
don't
Point,
know.
so that we couldn't claim that.
Let me look at. I'll look into it more. I'm certain that the UP was affected by that. I'm certain of it.
Dude, how do you call something a war if no blood is spilled?
I know.
I mean, dude, come on.
You ever heard of the Cold War?
Well, you can.
It's freezing out.
Right.
I mean, they labeled it properly, but calling Toledo War with the Michigan-Ohio War, no blood was spilled.
Sounds like it was a Cold War.
War of words, perhaps.
Shit. Well, I wasn't going to talk about this, but see, look at when I type Google or Bing, how did Michigan get the Upper Peninsula? When Michigan was preparing for statehood in the 1830s, the boundaries proposed corresponded to the original territorial boundaries, with some proposals even leaving the Upper Peninsula out entirely. Meanwhile, the territory was involved in a border dispute with the state of Ohio in a conflict. Oh, that doesn't explain it necessarily.
No. It was a waste. Why don't you go back to what you were doing there?
Fine, that's fine.
Let's get back to your
That's
things,
fine. Well, anyway, I don't have much more about what I do have is that this comes into play with a past, one of my day in histories. William Hull becomes the first.
Bill Hull. Who can forget old
Isn't he a commander in Detroit?
He lost the Battle of Detroit and was.
He was a badass dude. Remember, he was shouting across the river at Canada.
No, he wasn't. He just wrote a letter. Is all he did.
We read it.
And actually, even though he was convicted and sentenced to death, he eventually was pardoned by President James Madison, and his reputation returned. So he did become the first governor of the Detroit territorial situation, not a state yet. Again, Michigan in 1819, we gained enough population that we could send a member to Congress, but he could not vote. He could just sit there and see, that's what they're doing,
taking it in.
Just
kind of boondoggle, man.
Yeah.
Make this trip out to Washington, and you just sit there
just puts on his suit. He's got his monocle
can't do
in.
anything. Right. You just
hangs
go
his
back.
hat up on the rack and just sits down.
Like Mr. Peanut himself.
Hell yeah. Just taking it in.
1820,
learn, folks.
In 1823, we received the right to elect a 9-person council, moved to 13 later. with a territorial governor to help make the laws. And the president of the country,
When do we become a state?
president of the country is just names a territorial governor.
As the crow fly eat. Come on.
1837.
Excellent.
We become a state once we finally get 60,000 people.
And all the accoutrements thereof.
Do we get the deer right away?
I will say this: the opening of the Erie Canal in 1825 is a massive help to the state. People start flooding in. We go from 29.
When did we open the Erie Anal?
The anal opened up in 1825.
1825. Big day.
In 1830, our population was 29,000. 29,000. Wait a minute. It went from, when the population jumped from 29,000 in 1830 to 212,000 in 1840, all because of the Erie Canal.
Anal, yeah.
Because people from the
big deal.
New York and all that shit
remember
are like, let's move over to the west.
Sweet.
Is this back in the raping and pillaging days? Could you rape and pillage in the 1820s?
No, I think we're past raping and pillaging.
When was
Unless you're out in the Old West.
I mean, I'm sure there's still
Old
places.
West,
If you're
for
up in
sure.
the UP at this point, I mean...
Yeah, they're still probably dragging women home by the hair.
I was telling Jay...
When was the prime raping and pillaging days?
Oh, man. I think of like pirates, like 1500 shit. Rape and pillaging.
Yeah, just here for the ladies and the gold.
Yeah.
Having said that,
I mean, raping and pillaging assumes there's something to rape and pillage. So what we're talking about when we're talking about new territory and so forth, I mean, you're expanding. So there's not necessarily something to go into and rape and pillage unless you're talking about engines. Feathers, not dots.
I was just thinking, I want a piece of ass. I want some money and some beer. I'm not going to like light your hut on fire or anything like that.
Yeah, you might have to go back pirate
simple,
times to really the
basic-
true rape and pillage.
Yeah.
At least in my mind.
Your everyday raping and a pillaging, like those days. But you're saying by 1830 we were done doing that?
I think so.
Okay.
I will say, and just to remember, my actual date is that we become a territory, 1805, not a state. That's not what I'm technically doing. That's state
To be
history
clear.
on. And the other thing I was going to say is, I was telling this to Jay the other day, Mike, when you talk about getting away with shit. I was watching this show about the Alaska and the state troopers in Alaska, and there are like these towns that are small as shit. So even when people they can't get into them, they can't drive to them, and they can't get there.
No.
Seaplane.
They have to go and buy a plane.
And it's like shut down for 8 months out of the year.
But my point is
get anywhere.
when people break the law, he was talking about they have to wait till a certain amount of people that makes it worth their while to fly in to arrest people. And when the plane comes in, they say people will just hightail it out. They're like,
Scatter like
shit, that's
rats."
a police plane flying in.
Oh, man.
And people just get out of there.
There's probably quite a few ne'er-do-wells up in Alaska. You know what I mean?
I reckon, yeah.
Like that's. Can you think of a better place to go? Just
Upper
man.
upper Canada. I've always said there must be people in upper Canada that have done some bad shit and are just whatever.
Seeking refuge. Hey, the auto show's here. That can only mean one thing: insane deals from your friends at Zott Ford and Holly. SUVs are the flavor of the month. Lease a new 18 Ford Escape as low as $144 a month.
See, you don't play ball.
Or lease a new 18 Ford Edge as low as $188 a month. We'd say it again, but Jay gets pissed. So hit rewind or go to dealsinthedee.com
He
to see
picked up
these
on you,
deals
didn't he?
plus many more.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I read that yesterday too. I guess you weren't listening.
No, I don't listen that often. Do we have a quick email?
We do have a quick email or two, Mike.
I could do the Ohio Basketball League story if you want instead.
Hey, make sure you're going using email at DetroitCast.com to email in your thoughts.
Very good.
Gary writes in. Hey guys, I want to drop a line and thank you for your show. I'm a transplant to this area from Livonia/Farmington and recently stumbled onto it. I listen on the way to and from work. I'm a middle school principal.
What?
Pal, yeah.
What?
PAL.
Wow.
And often
cool.
laugh much of the way. It is great to hear you all talking about the many places and topics of my youth, i.e. Bonaventure Roller Rink, Shitty Lions, etc. I left Michigan halfway through my sophomore year at Farmington High School, December 1985. I felt sorry for myself for about 5 months until I realized I now lived in spring break paradise with white, sugary beaches and many hot chicks wandering the beach.
Where was he at? Florida, did he say?
Yeah, he's in Florida. Wow. I do love it here, but Michigan will always tug at my soul. Thank you for feeding me the little bit I need to still feel connected. Yeah. You are all awesome, even Big E, and keep up the great work. Let me know if you want me to send you some pics of the beaches or whatever. If you've never seen or visited the beaches, they are the best anywhere. Respectfully, your Florida connection, Gary, in Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
Oh, thank you, Gary. Yeah, some pictures. If you got any girls out there in blue
bikinis, there you go.
Send them over. Wait, what did you say? Middle school teacher?
Middle school principal.
You want to catch any of your students out at the beach one day? Snap a few pictures.
Man,
what?
you didn't say that.
No, I mean, if he's out at the beach with his students, don't take pictures of them. I mean, if he's out there with the middle school students and he finds some of-age, blue bikinied women and he wants to take pictures of those people.
Got it.
Keep that other eye on your students, though. You don't want them drowning.
Scott writes in, silicon versus silicone. Podcast heroes, seriously? You guys don't know the difference between silicone, great for sealing tubs and enlarging boobs, and silicon, great for making circuit boards? I expected that. Is it silicon or silicon?
It's silicon.
Why?
Silicon. It's
I expected that from
bullshit.
Big E, but not from you. As always, keep up the good work, Scott. P.S. When are we shooting clays? Oh, this is the clay shooting guy.
I want to do that. Don't lump me into that category with this one over here who doesn't know the difference between silicone and silicon.
No, that's how it came up. You were saying silicon.
Yeah.
And I was saying, isn't it silicon or silicone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he said, you guys didn't know. And I'm like, well, I knew.
Yeah.
I knew what it was.
Mike's snobby like that. He knows how to say everything in California. What was the other one?
Oh, yeah.
It was some county, right?
Yeah.
Marin County.
Marin.
Did you just wait?
And you were like,
say
oh
Marin County?
Did you say
Marin?
Like, yeah, I don't know. I live in
And then
Michigan.
and then you went like a 18-minute diatribe because I went, oh, sorry, sir. I thought you might have said that wrong. I thought you meant Marin County.
The great thing about our
and
show,
you just went.
When somebody says somebody went on an 18-minute diatribe and blew up, you can actually go back to that episode and listen to how
He
I
didn't
reacted.
explode. You were mad at him. You were like, fuck that
I actually
guy.
was mad at it
That
at the
guy
time. I do
corrects
remember.
everything everybody does. You say one thing.
I don't know that it was
Excuse me, sir. I think you meant Marin County.
It wasn't an 18-minute diatribe, but it was.
His head exploded.
It wasn't ridiculous.
It's not true.
And you,
oh, it was ridiculous.
Dude, you venomous. It was a venomous attack because you didn't just go, oh fuck you, no one cares, Marin, whatever. You
I think that's precisely what I said.
No. What happened?
California snub.
No,
And
what
then-
happens
and then
is
you attacked me.
Did I hearken back to the story where you and your mom were walking on some property, and your mom and you spoke about Clint's property? I think I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's
you
a
brought
that's
that
a
up.
that's
was
a
pretty snobby.
That's some what do you call shit? What's the word for it right now?
Oh, well put.
He's
Yeah.
project or not deflecting right there, big time. By the way, that's a big
No, I
deflection.
think that's exactly what came out of
well, okay,
that Marin.
but what did happen is that you
Is it Marin or Marin?
You
I
got
can't remember.
mad.
Marin County.
Okay, well he can he
Well,
did.
As I said, the beauty of our show is you can go back and listen. Matt writes in, dear insert snarky comment about 3 indigenous people. I'll get right to it and say I'm calling out Jay's bullshit for his grievance against the Shriners Hospital in episode 974. Last year, I wrote in with a grievance regarding donating to charity that was read in episode 946. See below for said grievance. Okay, yeah, I remember that one. While Mike rendered it bona fide, Jay's judgment of pussy is a clear case of hypocrisy to the highest degree. Sure, while my grievance involved only rounding up a few cents at a register and yours was about the charity on TV, they are one and the same since they are both asking for donations. No, dude. All right. To rewind, his thing was, I hate when I go to the register and they're like, hey, would you like to round up and the 34 cents or whatever on your bill will go to help this charity. And he hated that.
Yeah.
He was like, oh my God, how could you ask me that?
Yeah.
My thing is this fucking Alec kid, man.
Yeah, I know.
This goddamn
I know.
Alec kid.
You got it out for Alec.
I'm not against charities.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I mean, this is nothing of the sort. I just want this kid off my TV.
Yeah. His commercials are way too long. They're too often. And he's getting a bit smug, I got to be honest.
I don't care if this kid is pushing car washes or pillows.
Yeah.
I want him off my TV.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. Can't we go back to the good old days where they had that filthy plastic container of the dog with a slit in it? You just throw a penny or two
I
in
remember
there.
that. Yeah,
Remember
like the
those?
droopy dog.
Yeah, it had like a red tear, I
Yeah.
think, and it was yellow. It was always filthy. You never saw a clean one of those. And it was just like you threw your change in there. I'm getting really fucking irritated with this.
Pulling at the heartstrings.
Well, yeah, it's like,
Tugging.
it's I go to the pet store, just to get food or something for the cat, and then it's like, oh, would you like to donate $10 to save a bird or something? I'm like, no, I guess I hate birds, but no, I don't.
You feel shamed,
okay.
right?
It's totally
Yeah.
shaming.
You feel bad. You're like, no.
It's
nope.
bad enough when it comes up electronically. Would you like to donate $5, $10, $1 million to something? But these ones, they're like, so would you like to donate $1 to save dying children? It's like, nah.
Nope.
I don't care about dying children, I guess, but no. It's like, oh, okay, you're an asshole.
It's tough being presented with that, isn't
Yes.
it? Yeah,
just put the yellow plastic fucking dog out there.
That's why E's Facebook posts about homeless shelters so great, and people
Yeah.
respond to it because he shames them in part.
He does.
That's
That's the only reason it works.
He gets them thinking. Like, come on.
But don't
go
you think,
buy a beer tonight? Sure, you could, or you could help a homeless person.
Yeah, but
and
don't
when
you?
presented with that, you're like, "Fuck, what kind of monster am I? Of course, I have to help the homeless."
But he's. But if
And
the,
I
if
want to
the
get
lady
to
at the
a set
register,
threshold where he eats the pube sandwich.
if the lady at the register said, "Look, if you give $5 to save a dying bird, I will shit on the floor." Like, now we're talking. But she doesn't. She's like, "Nah, you want to save a dead bird? Give me $1 million." And it's like, nah.
he
what-
gives some extra enticement.
You gonna rip your pubes out and eat them?
Right.
Well, if you do, I'll give you $1. But
Up
no.
the ante here.
Yeah.
Devin writes in, Fukfas A, Fukfas B, and Etard. Greetings from your #1 high school listener and A1 douchebag. Oh, this is, he's listening in 972. This is a high school football player.
Oh, nice.
He actually wrote this using iBlack. I was glorified at the sound of a Buffalo Bills reference, as all people are. You guys were curious as to what the fuck the idea is behind Bills Mafia. I love it that the WWE table-breaking chaos has hit the mainstream. Goodbye, go Bills, and fuck the Pats. Ooh, I guess, this is kind of
Wow, this will be
a relevant email, isn't it?
Yeah, boy, they're
that'll-
out. So maybe next year. Why don't you pull that up next year, December time?
Yeah, they lost in Jacksonville.
We know a lot about Buffalo. Remember Kelso with that
extra helmet?
dummy? That great Gazoo helmet he had
Yeah.
on? Love that
Get
thing.
an extra shell.
Dude, it was like...
Loved it.
Womp, womp.
That was
crazy.
that was the
Love that
NFL's. That was how they took care of concussion issues back in the day.
Yes. It was awesome.
Solved. Problem solved.
Awesome.
We'll put a second shell on your helmet, sir.
Yeah. This guy's coming off the field. He can't, their things are like, well, put a double helmet on him, I guess. Or load him up with a bunch of alcohol. That'll help his headache. It's fine.
Hey, we'll save the rest for Monday, Mike.
Very good. Unless YouTube turns their lights off and then...
Well, no, that wouldn't be
find
true.
it.
He'd still be doing an audio form. We have a website, www.detroitcast.com.
Yeah, in
Google,
fact-
unless Google decides to shut the lights off, too.
We
I don't
barely
know.
even use YouTube, don't we?
Yeah, but, Google owns it. So if Google shuts the lights off, whew, and that's everything. Done.
Not
It's over,
actually.
so,
Our show will go on.
yeah.
www.detroitcast.com
Unless the internet shuts down.
and on iTunes.
Okay, well,
Hopefully
now
the internet doesn't shut down over the weekend.
Okay.
If it doesn't, we'll be here. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.